Hi YouTube, Tim Unkert here. In this video, we're going to convert decimals to fractions. So let's look at this first one. We have 0.23. So the first thing I'm going to do is write the decimal, the number after the decimal point, because this is the tens place and this is the hundreds place. It goes to the hundredths place. I'm going to write it as a number over 100. So I'm going to write 23 over 100. And then I got to look, well, can I simplify that any bit? Can I divide a common factor, or can I divide the greatest common factor out of both 23 and 100? Well, 23 is a prime number, so it's only divisible by 1 and 23. So we could divide 1 out of 100, but then we still get 100. So this one is as simplified as we can go. So 23 out of 100 is our solution to the first one. In the second one, we have 0.44. So again, these are done to the hundredths place. So we're just going to write them over 100. So we're going to do 44 over 100. Now, one thing that I notice is both 44 and 100 are divisible by 4. So I'm just going to divide the 4 out. And you don't always have to go for the greatest common factor first, if you just know that both are divisible by a certain number. So 44 divided by 4 is 11, 100 divided by 4 is 25, and that actually ends up being the greatest common factor here. So sometimes you might just divide out a number and then realize you can't divide it any further. But what I might have done here is I might have divided both 44 and 100 by 2, and then I would have gotten 22 over 50, and then I could have gone, oh, these are both even, I could divide them by 2 again, and I would have gotten 11 over 25. But, either way, as long as you reach the simplified fraction at the end, you're good. Okay, the next one, again, it's over the hundredths place. So we're going to write this as 68 over 100. Okay, I'm thinking I can probably divide both by 4 again, so let's do that. So let's see, 68 divided by 4. 4 goes into 6 once. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 8. 4 goes into 28 7 times. 7 times 4 is exactly 28. Okay, cool. So we have 17 on top here. On the bottom, 100 divided by 4 is 25. Now if I look, 17 is it's a prime number, so I can only divide it by 1 and 17. 25, if I divide that by, it's not divisible by 17, but if I divide it by 1, it's still 25. So that one stays as is. Okay, this next one, we have 0.50. And if I have a 0 in the last spot, I can really just move to this one. I can write this as a number over 10, because I really only have a non-zero number. If my last number is a 0, then I go to the next place and I look, well, this is a non-zero number, so I'm going to put this one over, since this is the tens place, I'll put this one over 10. So I'm going to do 5 over 10. And now I think, well, what can I divide the top and the bottom by? Well, I can divide them by 5. So 5 divided by 5 is 1, 10 divided by 5 is 2, and that's as far as we can go with that one. Now let's say I had something that went to 3 decimal places. Just as an example, let me change my color here. Let's say we had, 0. Let's try and do a better 0 there. Let's do 0.232, something like that. So this goes to the thousandths place. So I'd write this over 1,000. So I would do 232 over 1,000. And I note that both 232 and 1,000 are even numbers, so I could divide them by 2. So 232 divided by 2, well, let's do that out. So 2 goes into 2 once. 1 times 2 is 2. That's 0, so let's just bring down the 3. 2 goes into 3 once. 1 times 2 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. We bring down the 2 here. We have 12, so 2 goes into 12 6 times. 6 times 2 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. So if we divide it out by 2, we get 116 over 500. And I think, well, maybe I'm simplified, but oh, wait a sec. These are both even numbers, so I can divide out another 2. So, even though I didn't divide out the greatest common factor, I can just keep going with this if I don't know what the greatest common factor is. So let's divide both 116 and 500. Divide that by 2. Okay. So I know the bottom here we're going to get 250. We divide the top. 100 divided by 2 is 50. 16 divided by 2 is 8, so that's 58. Oh, and look at that. 58 is an even number. Well, let's keep going. So we'll do 58 over 250. We'll divide both of these by 2. Okay, so 58 divided by 2 is 29. And 250 divided by 2 is 125. Okay, so now we have both odd numbers. So we can't divide by 2 anymore, but we have to look. Well, 29, let's see. It's not really divisible by anything besides 1. So I think at this point we have to say, okay, well, we can only divide a 1 or a 29 out of this. This is not divisible by 29. And if I divide it by 1, it doesn't change. So we're just going to leave it as 29 over 125. And there we go. We simplified 0.232 into 29 1/25. Okay, hopefully this video was helpful to you. If it was, please give it a like. Also, if you want to consider checking out my Teacher Pay Teacher store, I'll leave a link to that in the description. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye.